Thank you very much, Neema. Thank you very much, Christine. I'm very delighted to be here. And when I first got the call, they told me I should come and speak to women and girls. I was supposed to inspire, I think. But I asked myself, can I really inspire anyone? And I've heard a lot of speakers. One of the things that I'm fortunate about the job that I do is meeting people, meeting wonderful people, including very extraordinary women. And I've heard a lot of them today. So I'm supposed to give a story about myself. I'm originally from Tanzania. Tanzania is one of the most beautiful countries in Africa, in East Africa. If you've heard Mount Kilimanjaro before, in case you don't know where that is, it's from Tanzania. If you've heard Zanzibar Island, it's from Tanzania. So I am blessed to come from a very beautiful country. I took my degree, I have quite a funny story, on botany and zoology. I had a dream to be a doctor. That's another story I'll tell you some other time. But I ended up taking botany, zoology, botany, study of plants, zoology, study of animals. But I still told myself that I'm going to be a doctor. Unfortunately, after my degree, I studied in Uganda. I went back home to Tanzania. And I was looking for a job. I couldn't get any job. I didn't even know what I'm going to be after taking my first degree in botany and zoology. But I was telling myself, I want to be this doctor. I want to be a doctor. But then there was this new radio that was opening up in Tanzania. And it was an FM radio. And my brother was telling me, just go and apply. I was like, I'm not a presenter. I've never done radio before. I'm not a media person. And he said, you'll manage, just go. So I'm talking about when we self-doubt ourselves, especially as women. So I was so worried, and I've never done an interview before in my life. But I did go, and fortunately, I did get the job. So I started as a radio presenter at an FM radio, basically playing music because I loved music. I still love music. And just talking anything. So I was given the morning show. I used to do the morning show and the evening show. That's where I started to be a presenter. But I still wanted to be a doctor. So after a couple of years doing radio and all that, I was like, maybe being a doctor is going to be too much. 6 years of studying, nah. And I started enjoying what I was doing. So after that, I moved to another radio because I was told there was going to be some changes in the other radio. There's going to be some new stuff. So I said, I want to grow. And I'm saying this because at that radio that I started with, which I really do appreciate, we weren't moving forward. And I was thinking, I need to do something more. I need to do something. I think I can do something better. I think that's what most of us lack. We never think we can do better. We always think, yeah, I'm here, this is it. No. We always have to think that personal initiative of thinking, I can do something big. So I moved to the other radio. And I stayed there for like 2 years, and then I moved again to print media. Print media, I had no idea how to write to newspapers, and I was very scared, but I had to because the other radio was closed after just 1 year. So I had to move to print media. And print media, it was really hard for me because I had no idea how you write an article, but I learned the hard way. I didn't get much support, unfortunately. But it was me with other 2 girls who gave each other support. And we were all not that good in it, but we eventually learned how to write. And I started writing features. I think I enjoyed writing features more than hard news. And that's when I had very good 2 female editors who were very supportive of me. So that helped me a lot. So it's not always, I know other people usually say that women don't support other women, but there are good women out there who do support other women, although there are other wicked women out there as well. But I had, so I think because I thought the feature editors were good to me, so I was like, you know what, sometimes you have to look where you can grow. If you feel like you don't have growth on the other side, just look. There must be someplace that somebody does support you. There must be, always. So I started writing feature stories, and it was a struggle, especially for the first 2 years, but later I catched up. And then I was tired. I was like, no, I need more. I don't know what I want, but I need more. So then I applied to come and do my master's in the UK, Leicester University. So then I moved here to the UK. And all I came to do here was just do my studies and go back to Tanzania. But then I thought about it. I was like, the BBC is here, right? And I'm in the UK, right? Okay. So confidence. Let's talk about confidence. I was worried, but I told myself, you know what? They don't even know me and nobody sees me. So I just called. I called the boss of Swahili service because I speak Swahili language, thinking that maybe I can't even do English. But I called the Swahili service and said, I just introduced myself and I just want to come and do an attachment. I'm soon going back home, but I just want to do an attachment with you. And the manager was like, yeah, how long do you want? 1 week or 2 weeks? I was, obviously 2 weeks. I'm not going to say 1 week. So I went to London and I did my attachment for 2 weeks. The good thing during that time was they were advertising a job for the Swahili service. So I saw this advert, but I ignored because I was like, BBC, who's gonna take me to the BBC? So I didn't apply. So some of the colleagues would tell me, have you applied? I was like, me? No, nobody's gonna take me. They say, just apply. I was like, seriously? Yeah. And then another colleague told me, and then another colleague. I was like, maybe I do qualify to work for the BBC. So I think the things that we all go through, yeah, we always doubt ourselves. So I did apply. It wasn't easy, it was so long, but I applied anyway. And then one day after my attachment, after 2 weeks, I got a call and they said, you're shortlisted. I was like, what? This is what's happening to me. Really? I said, yeah, you're shortlisted, you should come for an interview. So I did go for an interview and I had, I think, just like 1 month to go back home to Tanzania. So I did go for the interview. It was not an easy interview. This is an international organization. I was from an FM radio, not news. So you can imagine how much I prepared myself. I just did prepare myself so much. I had to learn about the politics, not just of Tanzania, of Kenya, Uganda, DRC, you name it. America, UK, so I really did prepare myself. And eventually, 1 week before I was leaving, 1 week before my graduation, then the other week I was leaving, I got a call that I got a job with the BBC. So I was so excited. I was really excited. I was like, yes, I did it. But in the process, I'm telling you, I did self-doubt myself 1,000 times. Another story that I just remembered, when I came to the UK, I don't know, I think this is something that I'm not sure whether it's among us Tanzanians or Africans in general. When we come here, the first thing we tell ourselves, apply for cleaning. That's what we tell ourselves. That's what we advise each other. Because when I came here, I had to work and study at the same time. So everybody was like sending me emails of cleaning jobs. I was like, but I'm a journalist. So seriously, I'm going to clean? They said, yep. You have to survive and you want to pay those fees. So I did apply. I did apply for cleaning jobs, but then my brother came up with an advert from HMRC. And he was like, well, I don't think you're going to get it, but just give it a try. And I was like, oh my God, what's HMRC? And I did apply. And I did get that job. So I never cleaned. That was the good thing about it. And all my cousins were like, oh my God, you got an office job. I was like, yeah, and it's not even that hard. It's just data entry. So they were like, oh my God. So they were now encouraged to stop applying for cleaning jobs. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know where we got this from. So I think that's another thing that we have to tell each other. Exactly. Like, don't underestimate yourself too much. Encourage yourself. Think that you can do big things. But I'm being very honest, I always self-doubt myself when I want to start something. But these days I've learned, I'm like, I can do this, even if I can't. But I will give it a try. So now I'm in the BBC and I work for Swahili Radio as a presenter, producer, editor. And then we started African TV. for the last 5 years. And the first thing I told them, they said, we need a female presenter. I said, I cannot do TV. As usual, that's what I usually do. I said, what? TV? No, I don't have the face for TV. Do we have a link? It's not working. I came with some of the clips. So I just refused to be a TV presenter. So I started as an outputter editor, as an editor. But I believe I was very good as a radio presenter. But I said TV, no, it's fine. So after 2 years, my managers came and said, you don't have a choice, you have to be a TV presenter. I said, I'm very scared, I don't think I can do this, I don't have a face for TV. I had so many excuses. And they said, on Saturday, there's a screen test, come Monday, you start work. So I need the job, obviously, so I couldn't say no at this point. So it was, I think 3 or 4 years ago. It was on a Monday. So 2 hours before I was going on air, I got this flu. I don't know where it came from, but I was so sick. I was trembling to death. And then one of my colleagues was like, do you think you can really do this? I said, no, I can't do this. But after like 10 minutes, I thought about it. I was like, what's wrong with me? Of course I can do this. I've been presenting since 2000. So I did it, and from that day till today, I'm a TV presenter. I report both English and Swahili. So for instance, for the US elections, the last US elections was 2016, I went there as a reporter for both World Service, English and Swahili. It's not an easy job. I know when people look at that, they think it's glamour. But being a reporter, being on TV is very hard work. You have to have all the determination. And for me, because I speak 2 languages, you hardly sleep when you go to the field. Because you have to look for people who speak Swahili and speak English. You have to write script for both languages. You have to edit for both languages. So sleeping is not an option when you're on the field. It is not an option. And mind you, it's not only TV at the time. You get calls from your radio colleagues as well. So it's very, very hectic and very, very busy. But it's fun in a way. It is fun. It is fun. So what else am I supposed to talk about? Those are just a couple of things that I've done. As I said, my degree, I forgot. When I came here, my master's, I decided, okay, maybe I'm not meant to be a doctor anyway. So I took my master's in mass communication eventually. Yeah, so I think there has to reach a point that you think, okay, if I'm not this, I can still be this. Yeah? So don't push too much on something that, it's not really planned. So just do something that you think you can be good at. And enjoy every minute of it. I've sent some links which I wanted you to see, if possible. And if you have any question, please, can you ask?
Let me ask you this question. Why is that trying to sort that out? Okay. Now, you said something very important. Very, very important. It may be funny because I just tried to roll on the floor and laugh. But it's the idea, because we're talking about empowerment. It doesn't matter who you're trying to empower, whether women, whether of people of different races. Empowerment is empowerment. And for the Black and ethnic minority community, especially in the United Kingdom, there's this self-fulfilling prophecy. For most of them, they are so educated, well-bred people. Most Black and ethnic minority people you find in the UK, they have degrees, they have talent, but once they come to this country, the only thing they want to do, like you said, is either cleaning, early morning cleaning, in fact, security, or if they are graduating, actually, it's been a carer. Yeah. There could be doctors, engineers, pharmacists, anything you can think of. Yeah. have seen an aeronautical engineer doing cleaning, not far away from here. From your experience, the advice they gave to you, because I know nobody comes to me to tell me they want to be a cleaner. First thing I said to them, what did you study? Why do you want to be a cleaner? Is that why you went to university? Can't you do better? Now that they gave you the advice and you didn't listen, what do you tell the next generation people that are coming here and wanting to be cleaners? How do you try to dissuade them from doing that?
I think we're just not ambitious enough. I think we don't have big dreams. I think we feel like we are nothing. We can't do this, we can't do that. We're very negative towards ourselves, as the teacher said. It's very true. That's why I insisted that I also do the same thing. I always tell myself, I cannot do this. That's the first reaction you'll get from me. Even when you gave me a call, I did say, no, I've never done this. I'm not going to do this. That's the first reaction. But we have to learn to change. And I think we have to convince each other in groups, as friends and families. Sometimes, people see something in you that you don't see. Yeah? So I think we also have to try and encourage people to do positive things. I think we don't do that enough. Even in our families, we don't do that enough. Even to our friends, we don't do it. We like saying, I cannot do it, I cannot do it. I get people who write to me on Facebook and say, I want to be this, I want to be like you. Sometimes they don't know how. Yeah, they just say, I want to be like you. And then you start asking them questions. Okay, so what do you do? Oh, I can talk. I'm like, seriously, a journalist doesn't just talk. You have to have the knowledge as well. So I think we need to help each other and encourage each other and never say no, as she said, never say no. Once you start saying no, for real, you will think you can't do it and you will really believe in it. Which one is that? Can we hear anything? So I covered the last Uganda elections. And no, this is my first presentation that I was telling you I was terrified. Well, people said I didn't look terrified, I looked comfortable, but I was terrified. My heart over there was pounding. I wish you could hear it. It's in Swahili.
Apologies for the lack of audio equipment. Sorry?
Okay, so while they're helping me in that, there was another, okay. And if you have any other questions, I can answer. Yes.
If we have any young, black ethnic minority wanting to go, for this kind of career, would you be able to mentor them? Because one of the things we can do to actually empower, generation that is coming after us is mentoring.
Yes.
So if somebody says, I want to go down that career line, and they need a mentor, is it okay if we signpost them to you?
Absolutely, absolutely. We need more of that. We can. I can. No problem at all. No problem at all. And show them how. Sometimes they can even come and we show them around. Yeah. We can just show them around for a day, for a couple of hours, not a whole day because we're quite busy. But we can do that. Talking about determination as well and pushing yourself. The last, was it 2000? It was the same 2016. I went for the Uganda elections, and I had this dream that I want to interview the president of Uganda, because that's what journalists really want, having those big interviews. So we went there, and there was a meeting at the State House. So I thought, how am I going to get an exclusive with the president? There was no way I'm going to get him because it was during the campaigns and they're usually very busy. But okay, all the journalists were called for a press conference. So I looked at him and I said, I have to find another trick. So I spoke with him in Swahili, assuming he does know Swahili. Apparently he lived in Tanzania for quite some time. So while everybody was speaking in English, I said, I need to draw attention first. So I just raised my hand and said, Habari mheshimiwa, like, how are you, Excellency? So he was like, oh, who is this speaking to me in Swahili? And I said, can I have a one-to-one interview with you? And he said, no, today I'm so busy, but we'll try some other time. So I knew I'm never going to get that interview. So after the results, we were still in Uganda, and he had a press conference at his hometown. So we drove there, and we were actually very late, last minute. And the minute we entered, they were all done, and I just went there and said, Mr. President, you promised me that you'll give me a one-to-one interview. So now I'm here. And he laughed and he said, oh, my Swahili friend, come on, I'll give you the interview. So it's just that sometimes you just have to have that confidence. Yeah, it's scary, but sometimes you just have to act like you're crazy and do it. So I did have a one-to-one interview with him in both English and Swahili, and it was the only one that was used in the whole of the BBC World Service. So in the morning when we were looking at it with my camera person and editor, we were just smiling and happy that, yes, we did it. So I think as women, as girls, we just have to push it. It's not easy. I think the chief inspector said the challenges that you face. Anybody who has achieved in this world, I believe, has gone through 1,000 challenges. It's just that how achievers deal with the challenges. But trust me, anybody who has achieved, I believe, like the chief inspector has a lot of challenges she won't even imagine. She won't even tell. But every single day we have challenges, especially as women, a lot of them. And the good thing about women, I think, they're very patient. Sometimes they don't talk about it a lot. You'll just see them thrive. But the things that they go through, oh my God, it's crazy. So yeah, that is my story. I don't know whether I still have time, if anybody has any questions. Well, I think I'm done.